Okay, welcome back in. We have a lot of games to review on Thursday. I think there was about 11 games, if I'm not mistaken. So diving into the first one has the New Jersey Devils as they played host to my beloved Montreal Canadiens, who are struggling at the worst possible time. In the first period, Jesper Bratt kicked things off in the first period, getting his fourth goal of the year from Jack Hughes and Dougie Hamilton, just a minute 33 into the opening frame. Andre Palat would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his second goal of the year from Jack Hughes, who had 2 assists as we speak. Heading into the second period, the Devils had a 2-0 lead. Alex Newhook would cut into that lead, getting his third goal of the year from Evans and Struble just over 5 minutes into that frame. Jonas Siegelther would get his first goal of the year from Haula and Cotter, 10:20 of the second period, increasing the lead back to 2 in favor of New Jersey. Brendan Gallagher would cut the deficit back to 1, getting his sixth goal of the year from Anderson and Dvorak, and that goal happened with 59 seconds to go in the second frame. So the Devils had a 3-2 lead heading into the third. Speaking of Jack Hughes, not only did he have 2 assists, but he also would score, getting his fifth goal of the year from Bratt, 6:23 of the third period. For Hughes, that'd be his fifth goal of the year, as I previously mentioned, possibly. Alex Newhook would get his second goal of the game, his fourth of the year, assisted by Gooley, 8:13 of the third, making it 4-3 at that point. Montreal would pull their goalie, and with just under 30 seconds to go, Jesper Bratt would increase the lead to 5-3, getting his fifth goal of the year. That would be unassisted, so the Devils would win by a final score 5-3. The Boston Bruins played host to the Calgary Flames. Okay, Hampus Lindholm would kick things off in the first period, getting his third goal of the year from Pasternak and Zacha, 2:04 of the opening period. Tyson Barrie, now this to me seems so strange seeing him in a Flames uniform, considering he played for the Oilers less than 2 years ago. So he'd get his first goal as a Calgary Flame from Lomberg and Kirkland, 2:23 of that same frame. So less than 20 seconds after that, the Flames would tie the game up. In the second period, Pavel Zacha would give the Bruins a 2-1 lead, getting his second goal of the season, assisted by Pasternak, 8:25 of the middle period. Cole Kopke would get his fourth goal of the year, assisted by Coyle, 8:56 of that same frame. So literally just 31 seconds after Zacha scored, Cole would increase the lead to 3-1. So the Bruins had a 2-goal lead heading into the third period. Igor Sharangovich would get a power play goal for the Flames just under a minute into that third period, getting his second goal of the year, assisted by Weegar and Coronado. Nazem Kadri would tie the game up, 9:55 of the third, getting his fifth goal of the year, assisted by Ball. We would need overtime to settle this one, and with just 20 seconds remaining, the captain, Brad Marchand, would strike, getting his fourth goal of the year, assisted by Elias Lindholm. So the Bruins would win 4-3 in overtime. The Ottawa Senators played host to the New York Islanders. There was no scoring in the first. The captain, Anders Lee, would kick things off for the Islanders in the second with just over 4 minutes remaining. For Lee, that'd be his fourth goal of the year from Horvat and Pollock. Jean-Gabriel Pageau, a former Sen. I know it seems like it was a lifetime ago that he was with Ottawa, but I'm pretty sure he got traded like 4 years ago, would score against his former team, getting his fourth goal of the year from Horvat and Anders Lee. And that goal happened with a minute, 38 seconds to go in the period. In the third, Oliver Wahlstrom would get his first goal of the year from Martin and McLean, 2:41 of that period, increasing the lead to 3-1. Nick Jensen would get his first goal as a member of the Ottawa Senators from Chabot and Stützle, 7:43 of the third. Drake Batherson would cut the deficit to 3-2. A power play goal, sixth of the year from Stützle and Sanderson, and that goal happened with 5 minutes and 33 seconds to go on the clock. The Sens would pull their goalie. Unfortunately, it did not pan out, as Bo Horvat would get the empty netter, his fifth of the season, assisted by Scott Mayfield. The Islanders would win by a final score 4-2. The Florida Panthers played host to the Nashville Predators. And this was a very one-sided game, to say the least, as you can see the score on the very top. So, in the first period, Sam Reinhart would kick things off, getting his 11th goal of the season, assisted by Barkov and Mikkola just over 3 minutes into the opening frame. Matthew Tkachuk would score 5:14 of that same period, getting his 4th goal of the year from Verhaeghe and Balinkas. Heading into the second period, the Panthers had a 2-0 lead. Evan Rodriguez would strike in the second, getting his 4th goal of the year from Bennett and Lundell, a minute 56 seconds of the middle frame, increasing the lead to 3-0 for the Florida Panthers. Carter Verhaeghe would get a power play goal, getting his 3rd goal of the year, assisted by Balinkas and the captain, Andrei Barkov, 11:18 of the second frame. So the Panthers have a 4-0 lead just over halfway through the game. Steven Stamkos would finally get the Predators on the board, getting his 4th goal of the season, a power play marker from Josi and Forsberg, 13:52 of the middle frame. Carter Verhaeghe would strike again, getting his 2nd goal of the game, his 4th of the season from Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk, and that goal happened with just 28 seconds to go in the second frame. So the Panthers had a huge 5-1 lead heading into the third. Tomas Nosek would score his 1st goal as a member of the Panthers, getting a power play marker from Schmidt and Samskevich, I believe is how you pronounce his name, 11:23 of the third period. This time they had a 6-1 lead. Juuso Parassinen would finally score the Predators' 2nd goal of the game, his 2nd goal of the season from Del Gaizo and Evangelista, and that goal happened 11:51 of the third frame. But it made little difference on the final goal score sheet, so 6-2 would be the final in favor of the defending Stanley Cup champs. All right, now we're off to New York as the Rangers played host to the Buffalo Sabres. In the first, the captain Rasmus Dahlin would kick things off, getting his 2nd goal of the year from Byram and Ryan McLeod, just 26 seconds into the opening period. In the second, Dylan Cousins would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his 2nd goal of the year from Benson and Quinn, 2:45 of the second. Tage Thompson would increase the lead to 3-0, getting his 9th goal of the year from Peterka and Clifton, 11:39 of the second frame. Jordan Greenway would increase the lead to 4-0, just 30 seconds after that. For Greenway, that'd be his 3rd goal of the year from Zucker, making it 4-0 in favor of Buffalo. Sam Lafferty would get his 1st goal as a member of the Sabres from Malestein and Krebs, 13:51 of the second frame. The Sabres had a 5-0 lead heading into the third period. I don't think anybody would have guessed that the Sabres would have won, let alone won this big. In the third, Will Cooley would finally get the Rangers on the board, getting his 4th goal of the year from Jones and Panarin. Zach Benson would increase the lead to 6-1, getting a power play goal. For Zach, that'd be his 1st goal of the season, a power play marker from Quinn and Alex Tuck. So the Sabres would go into New York and win 6-1. Who would have guessed that Shesterkin would get pulled against the Sabres of all teams? Okay, sticking in the Metro as the Carolina Hurricanes played host to the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, in the first, Jordan Martinook would get his 2nd goal of the year, kicking things off for the Hurricanes from Stahl and Chatfield just under a minute into the first. Jack Roslovic would get his 8th goal of the year from Aho and Orlov just over 8 minutes into the first period, increasing the lead to 2-0. In the second, Roslovic would get his 2nd goal of the game, his 9th of the season from Svechnikov and Chatfield, 9:27 of the middle frame. Jacob Slavin would increase the lead to 4-0, getting his 1st goal of the year from Aho and Roslovic. So it's safe to say that Roslovic was definitely one of the 3 stars tonight. Heading into the third period, he already had 2 goals and an assist. In the third, Eric Robinson would increase the lead to 5-0, getting his 3rd goal of the year from Nietzsche and Chatfield 2 minutes and 7 seconds into the third frame. Blake Lizotte would finally get the Penguins on the board, getting his 2nd goal of the season unassisted over 5 minutes into the frame, but unfortunately for the Penguins, it was too little too late at that point the Hurricanes would win this one 5-1. Alrighty, now we're off to Tampa as the Lightning played host to the Philadelphia Flyers. In the first period, Nikita Kucherov would get things going, getting his 11th goal of the year from Hagel and Lilleberg with 45 seconds to go in the opening frame. There was no scoring in the second. We have to jump all the way ahead to the third, where Owen Tippett would tie the game up, getting his third goal of the year, assisted by Konechny, and that goal happened with 4 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the game. Overtime wouldn't sell anything. We'd have to go to a shootout where Travis Konechny would get the game-winning goal for the Philadelphia Flyers, so they would win this one 2-1 in a shootout. All right, now we're off to the Central Division as we have the St. Louis Blues, and they're playing host to the Utah Hockey Club. So, in the first period, Michael Kesselring would open up the scoring just 18 seconds into the opening frame, assisted by Keller and Schmaltz, giving the Utah Hockey Club a very early lead. Late in that period, with 1 minute and 19 seconds to go, Colton Parayko would get his 4th goal of the season from Buchnevich and Jake Neighbors, tying the game up at 1 heading into the second period. Matthias Maccelli would give the Utah Hockey Club a 2-1 lead, getting his 3rd goal of the year from Genther and Cooley, and that goal happened with 1 minute, 51 seconds to go on the clock. So heading into the third period, the Utah Hockey Club had a 2-1 lead. I can't wait till they get a regular name because it's going to be a long season saying Utah Hockey Club all the time. Jordan Kyrou would tie the game up, getting his 5th goal of the year, assisted by Buchnevich, 13:29 of that third period. Dylan Genther would score with 3 minutes and 21 seconds to go, giving the Utah Hockey Club another lead. That'd be his 7th goal of the season, unassisted. The Blues would pull their goalie, but unfortunately it did not pan out. Jack McBain would get credited for the empty net goal, his 3rd of the year from Sergachev and Hayton. So Utah would win in St. Louis 4-2. Staying in the Central Division, as we have the Dallas Stars played host to the Chicago Blackhawks. In the first period, just the 1 goal to report. Sam Steele would open up the scoring, getting his 2nd goal of the season from Stan Coven and Lindell, 11:06 of the opening frame. In the second period, Tyler Seguin would increase the lead to 2-0. For Seguin, that'd be his 6th goal of the year from Lundqvist and Steele. In the third period, Tyler Bertuzzi would finally get the Blackhawks on the board, getting his 5th goal of the year, a power play goal from Bedard and Donato, just over 9 minutes into the third frame. The Blackhawks would pull their goalie, but unfortunately it did not pan out. Logan Stankoven would get the empty netter with just 46 seconds to go. For Logan, that'd be his 2nd goal of the season from Ben and Labushkin. So the Stars would win 3-1 would be the final score. Staying in the Central Division, there's really no point in me clicking on the game because just the 1 goal to report between the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche. Gabriel Velarde would score in the first, his 6th of the year from Scheifele, 1 minute and 6 seconds into that game. Imagine going to a game, someone scores a minute into that frame, and there's no more scoring the rest of the game. That would be very intense as a fan, to say the least. Alrighty, going into the Pacific Division as we have the Los Angeles Kings, and they played host to the Vancouver Canucks. So in the first period, Quinton Byfield would kick things off for Los Angeles, getting his 2nd goal of the year from Lafayette and Warren Foegele, 1 minute 43 of the opening period. Connor Garland would get credited for a power play goal. It says own. That just means it was obviously deflected off a Los Angeles Kings player, stick, whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, I can't show highlights because that's when the whole copyright issue comes in. So this is the only way I can review games. So obviously, if you want to watch it, just go on YouTube and you can easily find it, whether it's on Sportsnet or NHL. So we're all tied up at 1 heading into this second period. Jake DeBrusk would give the Canucks a 2-1 lead, getting his 3rd goal of the year from Hughes and Hronek, 5:51 of the second frame. So heading into the third, the Vancouver Canucks had a 2-1 lead. Excuse me. In the third period, just over 2 minutes into the frame, Quinn Hughes would get his 3rd goal of the year, increasing the lead to 3-1. Vladislav Garakov would get his 1st goal of the season from Moore and Deneau, and that goal happened with just over 6 minutes to go on the clock. The Kings would pull their goalie, unfortunately, as always, or most of the time, it did not pan out as JT Miller would strike, getting his 5th goal of the season, an empty net marker with 1 minute and 14 seconds to go on the clock. So the Canucks would double up on the Kings 4-2. And the last game from Thursday took place in San Jose as the Sharks played host to the Minnesota Wild. Zach Bogosian would kick things off in the first, getting his 2nd goal of the year from Chisholm and Foligno, 2:22 of the opening period. In the second period, Macklin Celebrini would get his 2nd goal of the year from Granlund and Thurn just over 4 minutes into the second. Matt Zuccarello would give the Wild a 2-1 lead, getting his 6th goal of the year from Kaprizov and Rosie, 8 minutes and 1 second of the middle frame. Matt Boldy would increase the lead to 3-1, getting his 7th goal of the year from Faber and Kaprizov, a power play goal as well. So Minnesota had a 3-1 lead heading into the third period. Jonas Brodin would get his 1st goal of the year from Gaudreau and Kaprizov, 6 minutes and 2 seconds of the third, increasing the lead to 4-2. Macklin Celebrini would get his 2nd goal of the game, his 3rd of the season, from Granlund and Thurn, and that goal happened with just under 4 minutes to go. San Jose would pull their goalie, and Matt Boldy would get his 2nd goal of the game, 8th of the season, an empty netter with 1 minute, 35 seconds to go on the clock. So Minnesota would go into San Jose and win this by a final score of 5-2. Okay, that's going to take care of Thursday's recap from the National Hockey League season. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.